In the upcoming series, I'll be creating a 1048x48 grey base plate diorama for the Lego Viking Village set. Before we begin the build, I wanted to have all the minifigures ready for placement as the series progresses. I have drawn inspiration from the Viking series for this army, where in Season 1, Ragnar Lothbrok was a chieftain of a village in Norway. Here we also have a chieftain outfitted with the Hun Warrior CMF parts. I gave him a copper axe to match the copper trimmings on his prints. I also gave him a double-sided head, which will come in handy for dialogue scenes. Ragnar had a wife named Lagertha, who was a shield maiden. Here, the chiefess is also a shield maiden. She has a small detachment of shield maidens under her command. They are distinguished by the red printed legs from the Viking Village set. Ragnar had many sons. For this chieftain, I went with 2 sons. The older one commands the shield bearers. I gave him Boromir's shield to make him stand out from the others. In total, there are 7 shield bearers including the son. They are distinguished by the dark blue printed legs from the same set. You may have noticed that they all use the blue printed shields from the Viking Village set. The green version of these shields will be going to a different faction, so I didn't use them here. The younger son commands the raiders, which are basically an assortment of axemen and spearmen. There are a total of 17 raiders, including the younger son. I wanted to give this army a more random look, with each having different legs and torsos, since they are not professional soldiers. Their main source of income is raiding and pillaging villages and trade ships. It's basically a family business with a chieftain in charge. The shield maidens and shield bearers are more well trained, so I gave them the matching legs to give them a slightly more professional look compared to the raiders. The final division are the archers. There are 8 of them, since I think Vikings would prefer to fight up close and personal rather than shooting arrows from a distance, but some archers are needed. The villagers are basically the wives and children of the Vikings. When the men are off plundering and pillaging, the wives and kids tend to their home, crop fields and other daily chores. We have a total of 20 villagers for now, but more can be added later if needed. The next order of business is to build a Viking Village set, which will be the centerpiece of the upcoming diorama. I will also be creating some of my own builds as well. So let's crack open the box and start the build. I decided to use blue flags for this Viking faction to match the shield design. The banners and shield inside the longhouse had to be swapped out as well. A blue flag can also be seen on the Creator 3-in-1 Viking Ship, which was originally red. Talking about the ship, I now wanted to highlight some of the changes I have made. Firstly, I added a paddle rack attached to the roof for the smaller maneuvers when docking the ship. The deck has been tiled as well. I went with medium nougat so the ship doesn't look too overly brown. I made these changes since the days of my Creator 3-in-1 Medieval Castle diorama, one of my earlier builds, but I made a new modification to the mast and sails. I stitched together 4 Lego City Safari tent cloth pieces using the bottle cap and hollow stud pieces. I also added an attachment point for a boom at the bottom of the mast to hold out the sail when they are deployed. In the old diorama, I used a red and white striped cloth sail piece from the Black Sea's Barracuda for the ship, but that color scheme is now for the Lion Knight's ships, so I had to come up with a more neutral color scheme for these Vikings. I think this sail works well since it has a bit of a ragged look to it, which suits these raiders. Finally, for the 4 minifigures from the Viking Village set, I removed the legs from the old male Viking since this type of legging will be going to a different type of army. I replaced it with a peg leg since he was a former raider but now retired. For the shield maiden, I swapped the parts for a male shield bearer. Since she has the dark blue leggings, we now have 8 shield bearers. I really liked the face print of the archer, but his torso and leggings will be going to another army, so I built a completely new figure. I thought the face would work well with a poncho cloth piece for this figure. We now have 9 archers. I won't change the blacksmith, she can just be a former shield maiden now crafting weapons and armor. With these 4 added, we now have 62 minifigures for this village. As mentioned, more villagers can be added later if needed. I would like to take this opportunity to announce that I've launched channel memberships. If you would like to support the creation of future seasons of this castle series, then please do have a look at the different levels and perks available by clicking the join button below. We are now on season 3 and I have plans for many more seasons in the future. I would also like to give a big shout out to the members that have already joined. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for watching and I'll see you on the next one.